Hey, good morning. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you again. Good to be back. It's a cold morning. Just getting my day started, heading off to work. And thanks for joining me. So today, we're sifting through these thoughts about not waiting to fix a problem. And let me elaborate on that. So what happens when you wait too long to fix a problem? You end up having a big old disaster. And we all know we want to avoid disasters because we want to avoid disasters at all costs. So, King David has a son. And this son, he has many children, but he's got a couple of kids. One of his sons, Absalom, has a sister named Tamar and a half-brother whose name is, I believe it's Amnon? I'll have to look that up. Anyway, so Amnon, he ends up attacking his sister, Tamar. He harms her, right? And King David doesn't do anything. And the brother Absalom, he's really upset about this. This half-brother of his has attacked his sister, his full sister, and he's very upset about it. But David didn't do anything about it. And so time passes, and eventually Absalom avenges his sister by killing this brother. And at this point, he then flees, like he exiles. Or he is exiled, so he flees away. And again, David doesn't do anything. This is a huge tragedy in the family, and David doesn't do anything. King David has his own stuff that he's dealing with, and he just refuses to act. He always cares about his kids, his sons, but he seems to not act. So then what happens? Well, Absalom, he ends up being away for a couple of years. He comes back. When he comes back, David refuses to see him. So he doesn't see his dad. They can't reconcile. So more time passes. Well, eventually what ends up happening is Absalom starts to rebel. He already had started to rebel, but he rebels against his father, and he's actually gaining followers, and he's eroding his dad, or King David's, power within his kingdom. And David continues to do nothing. And it eventually gets to the point where David's going to lose his kingdom because of the revolt that's going on here with his son Absalom and all of his followers. And so David actually flees. Now Absalom is an enemy of the king. David he's not acting. In fact, he tells his armies and those pursuing Absalom to treat the young man gently. And so he still hasn't acted. He has acted, but he hasn't done maybe the proper action to be able to fix the problem. He hasn't taken care of it. And then ultimately what happens is we hear that Absalom is coming along, and he's like riding a mule under an oak tree, and there are various versions of the story, but he gets caught up in the branches of the tree, and he gets hung. He not hangs himself, but he is hung in this tree. Whether his hair is caught up or the branch catches him by the neck, or what exactly happens, we don't know. But then the mule runs away, and he hangs there. And then some of David's men end up stabbing him with spears, and he's dead. And then it's reported back to David, and David grieves greatly for the loss of his son. And when you look at this whole story, what if this were a play? It would be like your perfect melodrama, family drama play. So David, in not acting and just letting things slowly progress, he ends up losing two sons. There's family rift. He almost loses his kingdom. He loses the trust of the people. And as was prophesied, his family would fall apart. He loses his family. So it's a crazy story. There are so many layers to it. But I think the takeaway is, when you see things going off the rails, you have to act early. And this is sort of the history of David's life, right? Like, you need to stop things before they progress too far along. And so in our lives, what little things are going on that we need to take care of now so they don't escalate into something larger that's worse, that makes the problem bigger, more involved, and more detrimental to those around us. I hope you'll be able to think about that today. Ponder that, this idea of what little things are issues right now that need to be taken care of so that you can avoid bigger catastrophe down the road. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Know that you're loved, cared about, and yeah, we'll talk soon.